Alright, so, what if Paper Mario, but no Mario? The Thousand Year Door is objectively one of the best Mario RPGs we've ever gotten, with its engaging story, interesting locations, sick-ass music, and its inclusion of a Waluigi costume. Just, how can you not like this? Unfortunately, however, the game is a bit on the easy side, and frankly, it's been 20 years. I'm a grown man now. Simple shit don't cut it anymore. I need a bit of spice in my life. So on that note, Mario. All my homies hate Mario. We've gone too many years with no proper partners, we're playing with partners. The rules are simple. Mario can't do anything outside of this screen. No hammer, no jumping, no invoking the power of thousand-year-old relics, leaving the brunt of the adventure on the partners. Friends will slowly gather over the course of our adventure, so yes, my friends are my power. Some of them will be useful and some of them will be Cooper, but that's what we're working with. Now, I will be allowing items for some extra strats, but no badges. Doing this game with no Mario but badges is kinda like fighting someone with one hand but a gun. Yeah, you're handicapped, but are ya? With that said, welcome to Mario Wins by doing absolutely nothing. Oh, and if you're wondering why this is the OG and not the new, well, buddy, I paid $60 for the new. I'm not speedrunning it in 3 days for YouTube. Maybe Twitch. One day. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, our journey begins with Mario getting a letter from the princess telling him to get his ass over to a town he's never heard of. Here's a map, let's go. You know, this already brings up some concerning moral questions. Like, what if Mario was sick or something? Would he still have to go? Guess it doesn't matter too much since Mario agrees and within 10 seconds of landing is already roped into helping out someone else. This is Goombella, and she is determined to have us do something since we're immediately shoved into a battle that we have to win with no partners to help us out. Now, while a reasonable person would say this is the one exception, I say take my bullshit guarding skills. This is a super guard. Unlike a regular guard that lets you block a single point of damage, a super guard negates all damage and actually damages the attacking enemy instead. You remember the ball thing from One Punch Man, where Saitama hurts the guy by just standing there? Well, just imagine that's happening. And then get used to it happening, since it's a key requirement for this challenge to work. One pacifistic ass whooping later, and Goombella is officially on our team, meaning we're officially allowed to play the game. Kinda. Yeah, new game means new story, means lots of exposition. Thankfully, none of that is relevant to the challenge, so you're getting the cliff notes. First, we need some info on the map, so she takes us to her old professor. Turns out Peach already went here, but now she's nowhere to be seen, and the best lead we have is to follow where the map takes us. Meaning we have to collect every crystal star the map points us to until we find her. Mario begrudgingly agrees so long as he doesn't have to do shit, and Goombella enthusiastically agrees cause she's a total Chad who can dunk on anything. Regular enemies, flying enemies, spiked enemies. Mark my words, she might only have one damaging move, but I will make this work. As for the other move, well, we'll get there. But like in part 2. It's already front-loaded enough as it is. Alright, first on our list is the Diamond Star, located in that castle and guarded by a boss that honestly feels like it should have been the 3rd or 4th of the game, but whatever. First things first, we need us a turtle. So onwards to Petalburg. Not that Petalburg, but that Petalburg. On our way there, we actually managed to level up a few times, though since BP and FP mean exactly jack to us right now, we're gonna be focusing exclusively on making Mario harder to kill. Yeah, fun thing about this challenge, even though he can't do shit, it's still game over if he dies, effectively making him a giant useless weak spot. Level him up enough and he'll eventually become a giant useful meat shield, but that's like mid-game. We're still in early game. And right now, that involves talking to a turtle in a pink house telling us to go get some keystones. Specifically to fill those weird holes so we could get up to Hooktail's Castle. Oh yeah, that thing's name is Hooktail. Even the game calls that name dumb, so I too will call it dumb as I cheese the hell out of these fights. See, to get the keystones, we have to go through 3 mini castles. Each of those has enemies to deal with, and each of those are too hard for Goombella to deal with. Luckily, there's plan B. Side note, those last few are actually a punishment for getting questions in a quiz wrong, but since they have the exact same health as the last few, they are basically free XP. And spoiler, we're gonna need that. With keystones firmly in hand, courtesy of some chests guarded by some googly-eyed balls, we're finally free to get our turtle. This is Koops, and like many alpha males, he's a little bitch who wants to be strong. Unlike many alpha males, he actually has a girlfriend and is willing to do shit. But it doesn't really matter since they're both terrible. See, here's the deal. It isn't that Koops is bad, it's that his weakness is abysmal. Let's say I fail an action command with Goombella. Yeah, that hurts, but it's pretty manageable. If I fail an action command with Koops, he's completely useless for 3 turns. That includes being able to guard or super guard anything. Now you might say, wait, that's only if something jumps on his head. And good point, but bad point actually, cause everything jumps on his head here except for other non-flying turtles. So too bad, Koops. Goombella stays my best friend and gets to be upgraded cause otherwise she is completely So, remember when I said this should have been like the 3rd or 4th boss? Well, there's a reason for that. 30 health with 1 point of defense and 5-point attack would already be bad enough, but not only does she have an attack that hits both Mario and the partners, I can never get the stupid super timing down. It's supposed to be as it hits you. Why is it after it hits you for this one? This is bullshit. Now, normally you're supposed to use a badge that both a pile of bones and a nice mouse lady says will cripple her. Unfortunately, our rule set sucks. So what's the solution? We ball. There's 3 sprites around the castle that can upgrade Goombella. Items do more damage, so get a few of those. There's 1 life shroom here, so better make that count, and yeah, that's about it. Otherwise it's get good. The only other thing that helps us here is the 1 stomping attack I actually can super guard, but whether she chooses to use it or not is complete fucking luck, so yeah, get good. After like 6 attempts, we just barely get past Hooktail, and honestly, I don't feel like recapping any of the story stuff here, so with the Diamond Star in hand and Koops' dad, that we totally didn't forget to mention, rescued, next up is the Emerald Star in Boggly Woods, specifically in a big tree, a great tree even. One that according to this little lad is being invaded by a bunch of these freaks. So onwards and upwards, but oh no, the aforementioned freaks installed a door that we can't open. Solution though, we just need help from a cloud lady who built a house in the middle of the woods and apparently can't be seen without a necklace. Of course she can't. But wait, it's okay cause these freaks, plus Vivian, are the ones who have the necklace. These are the Shadow Sirens, and they were sent by X-Naut leader Bubble Bitch to beat us up. Thankfully, none of these ladies can jump, meaning Koops is officially useful again. For like 5 seconds. Cause as soon as this fight's over, we unlock the single most useful partner in this challenge. This is Madame Flurry, and she's come to kick ass and make out with people. And she's all out of legs. See, not only does she have a clean 25 health thanks to a quick upgrade, but with Lip Lock, she could drain the health out of an entire X-Naut per turn. Granted it costs 3 FP per use, but thanks to a few level ups since breaking into the tree, we're more than equipped for it. So, while Punio is off on his adventures to rescue the leader, his sister, and this big dickhead, our thick queen will be taking bodies by the dozens. Through morally questionable means, mind you, but hey, you know what? These guys want to subjugate the world through extremely questionable means, so fuck them. Eventually, Mario gets a new pair of shoes, but since he's too busy doing nothing, these aren't really of note. What is of note is we've successfully rescued all 101 Poonies and are now ready to claim our Emerald Star. At least we would if Purple Guy didn't come back to try to murder us. Get used to that, by the way, cause he always comes back. Unfortunately for him, Madame Flurry is not only a thick gal, but a fast gal, and we reach him pretty quick. With no other choice, Afton has decided to use his metal suit to kill us, but Madame looks at this piece of garbage, laughs, and proceeds to pile drive him into the dirt. Really, the only potential danger here are the arms, which can do a lot of damage, but dude, they die in one body slam, they're not doing shit. Plus, once they're dead, Afton really only has a stomp attack for a few turns, and hey, guess what? They're super easy to guard. 2 stars down, 5 to go. But first, Peach and Bowser. Yeah, I sort of breezed through these the first time since they have none to do with the challenge itself, but basically, in between chapters, we get to see what Peach and Bowser are up to. Some are cute, some are funny, the ending kind of ruins one of them, but hey, you want to know more? Bam, buy it. Or pirate it. Or, I don't know, just on something. Alright, we've stopped the dragon from eating the locals. We've stopped would-be dictators from taking over a tree. What's next? Yeah, chapter 3 is great. Alright, so it turns out the next star is the Gold Star, which is on a flying city that exists exclusively for a fighting league. But since it's a ridiculous tourist trap in the middle of the sky, no one could get in without an expensive ticket. And the only way we could afford one is by helping the Dawn of Untimely Death. That is his actual nickname, I you not. It is honestly one of the funniest interludes in the game that somehow ends up with us being called Mr. Crushy for the rest of our lives. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of actual fighting, so play it. Once we get to the city, we enter the ring and find out the star is on the championship belt. So, one quick sign up from the fight promoter later, and hey, would you look at that, it's officially ass-whooping o'clock. One by one, people line up just to be forcibly made out with live in a crowd of hundreds. Not only shooting us up the ranks, but probably turning this from an E to a T, since that is very not cool, Flurry. It's not cool. Thankfully, none of our minor league buddies seemed too bothered by it, and hey, one of them even asked us to check out a new hot dog stand for him. That is currently being tormented by a giant moving egg. I have several questions. Whatever. Either way, we keep the egg because this guy sucks, and get back to fighting, ripping apart everyone in the minor league and reaching our major league entry match, only to be quickly met by a metaphorical wall of bullshit. See, these guys are Iron Clefs, and they are 100% invincible to everything. We cannot hurt them, no matter what. Meaning challenge is over, pack it up guys. But wait, our egg has conveniently hatched into a Yoshi named, Keith. Yeah. Major Leagues, baby, hell yeah. Unfortunately, even though we're officially halfway through the bracket, we've hit a bit of a snag. See, threatened by the big dick energy of our partners, minus Coops. Okay, fine, also Coops. The soon-to-be dethroned champ comes in and we make a discovery. The star's fake, which is where the other shoe drops. Turns out there's a giant conspiracy in the ring, and in between matches, most of which we breezed through, we're searching for clues, getting new tools, knocking down walls, finding half-dead people, almost getting poisoned, and finally finding the mastermind behind all this bullshit. The fighting promoter, who's been using the crystal stars to drain the life out of God knows. Look man, I want to say he was a challenge, but he's really not. With the exception of this one attack, the super guard timing is so easy, it's kinda depressing. Best he can do is make himself harder to damage, but when I have at least 2 attacks that completely ignore defense, it's really just delaying the inevitable. And with that, he's presumably sent to jail for the murder/kidnapping of God knows how many people, and we leave with our new crystal star. Completely forgetting to mention Bowser randomly showed up here. Alright, so while the last 2 chapters have been a complete cakewalk, this chapter decides to shake things up by taking away everything we hold dear. I am not kidding, we are It all starts with the Ruby Star pointing us to Twilight Town. Not that Twilight Town, but that Twilight Town. A town with a wonderful aesthetic that we unfortunately spend 0 time in since everyone's being turned into pigs and time is of the essence. However, thanks to Keith and a brand new rolling ability, we can easily ignore every enemy except for these guys who decide to be in the middle of the goddamn road. They suck, and I hate them, but they're dead now, so onwards we go. Eventually, we reach this creepy steeple, grab a special tool for later, and fight against this guy, whose attacks are super easy to super guard, and hey look, he's dead, how about that? Wait a minute, what the hell was this? I was promised difficulty! Even the partners are dunking on this guy! This is some bullshit! Wait a second, random audience member, good point, but bad point actually, cause he just took our body, our partners, and every possible way we have of doing a goddamn thing. Mother. See, fun fact about this guy, his name is Doopliss, and he's a body snatcher. And apparently, no one can figure out that's not me, even though Mario has suddenly gone from never talking to never shutting the hell up. Then again, that does sound like me, so either way, we're kinda screwed. No partners means no method of attack, and no way to really dodge enemies. Best we could do is run from and just hope for the best. Which is all I could do against Doopliss here, cause guess what? I can't even super guard damage him until I get his name and a P. Yippee! Yippee! But thankfully, we finally get the next chat partner of the game, Vivian. Yeah, remember her? Turns out her sister's a giant asshole. So when we show up, she's like, F my sister, she never supported my transition, let's go kill some transphobes. So really, the true victor of this chapter is actually trans rights. Hell yeah. Thanks to Vivian, we're quickly able to find out Dickhead's name and chase him to get our body back. Granted, she is a bit pissed when she finds out we're actually Mario, but thanks to the aforementioned not being an ass, she decides to fully join the team anyway and clutch a 1v5. Though, fun fact about this fight, it's not required to beat everyone, we're just doing it because they deserve it for not figuring out that's not me. So the battle begins, and as you might expect, it's hell. While Vivian does have the advantage of lingering fire damage, she only has 15 health to the collective 110. Thankfully at this point, Mario is a thick, meaty boy, so we have a bit of leeway. Also, super guarding. It never gets old. After a grueling fight where I proved Doopliss isn't even good enough to be my fake, the Ruby Star is finally ours, Mario finally gets his body back, and our partners finally realize they're all stupid. Also, Doopliss makes friends with the other two terrible people. Good for them.